Chip Caray does all the Brave games. Alana was speculating about how the fans would react. I'd be shocked if they gave him a hard time. I think any animosity would be directed, if any at all, to Braves ownership and Anthopoulos. I would think a long-standing ovation tonight, Chip, and welcome for Mr. Freeman when they introduce him. What's your thoughts on that first? Go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Chris. I can't predict what the fans will do, nor would I ever suggest what they should do. But as a fan of Freddie Freeman and all he meant to the franchise, I think anything less than a big, warm Southern embrace for him all weekend long would be a tremendous upset. The guy did everything you wanted as a franchise cornerstone, won a World Series, an MVP, great in the community, came here, raised a Brave, got married here, had his kids here. He's everything you want a franchise to be represented by as a major league player. And I think for him, this will be an emotional day, and an emotional day for our franchise and for our fans, too, because there'll be some closure. Finally, we saw the Dodgers, as you know, in April. That was emotional, quite obviously. But doing it at Truist Park, where so many of Freddie Freeman's great memories took place, I think will be a wonderful way to start the weekend. There'll be packed houses as the Braves are on pace to draw 3 million fans this year. And as you said, two really good teams playing really good baseball as well.
We'll put this to bed after we ask you this. Everybody blamed the ownership because, you know, they played hardball with him before and after the lockout. I got a funny feeling, though, you know, he never admitted that maybe Anthopoulos wanted to make a move. Maybe he made that trade for Olson, gave him $168 million. Freeman got $162. And although Anthopoulos, and I love him, though he may not want to take the hit publicly, maybe he's the guy that wanted to switch first baseman and go younger. What's your take on that for a sec?
I don't know if that's the case. And look, that's way above my pay grade. I think the Braves had a line in the sand that they weren't willing to cross as far as the years. The dollars, I don't think, were an issue. Because, as you said, the money they gave Matt Olson is comparable to what Freddie Freeman got in Los Angeles. It was a year issue. And for whatever reason, Freddie and his side felt that that was a line that they had to have. The Braves weren't willing to go there. And when they had the chance to pivot to a younger, as productive player and a guy that they think can be an all-star in Atlanta and Matt Olson, who, by the way, is from here, that's the decision that the Braves made. But without rehashing what happened, what's done is done. The Dodgers are happy to have Freddie Freeman. The Braves are very happy to have Matt Olson, who's a terrific player in his own right. And this isn't a weekend, I think, in Atlanta for anybody to point fingers and talk about what didn't happen. It's really a celebration of what already has happened. And I think we're all looking forward to seeing Freddie, seeing his family. He's going to have a giant suite with 50, 60 people in it. And as I said, it's a homecoming of sorts for him. And while we're sorry he's an LA Dodger, we're really happy with the player we've got. Matt Olson's having a terrific year with the Braves, who are only 4 games out of first place behind the Mets and surging in what's been a terrific month of June.
And they needed that 3 out of 4 chip against the Giants badly. They needed it badly, but it was important because they lost a series to the Cubs. They had won the 14 games against so-so competition, Pirates, the A's. So to beat a good team like San Francisco and win one of the games in the 9th inning, as which they did, when they scored all those runs on Duvall's hit to win it, and then they hang on yesterday and to beat the Giants 3 times is well, we know they're good anyway, but that was, I think, stamps the 14-game winning streak. How about that for a sec? Let me hear.
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, good teams beat teams that they're supposed to beat. The Braves had a great break in the schedule. They had 29 games against teams below 500, Chris, and they won 21 of them. That's not easy to do. And then they've come home, and this stretch of 10 games going up to the 4th of July, you have the 4-game series against the Giants, which the Braves took 3 out of 4 against. You had the Dodgers for 3. Then we go to Philadelphia, and then we go to Cincinnati, where the Braves have historically had trouble playing. So the Braves are 500 against winning teams. They're way above 500 against losing teams. They're, 18-3 so far in the month of June. The all-time franchise record for wins this month is 21. And in just about every facet of the game, Chris, they're really doing things well. You've shown a couple of highlights of Dansby Swanson, who has had an unbelievable 30-game run. I think a lot of people have failed to put him in that elite class of shortstops, but his play offensively and defensively, I think, should change that thinking. The Braves are not striking out as much. Michael Harris has come up from Double-A and has been a great spark at the bottom of the lineup, which has made Atlanta's outfield defense terrific. That coupled with the awesome infield defense that the Braves have put together, this is a very dangerous team now that's really starting to feel its oats a little bit. They're 4 games behind the Mets, a very good team. They have 15 games left with the Mets, and I think 9 of them come in the month of August. The Braves have whittled the lead down now, and as my grandfather used to say when the Cardinals and Cubs played, the Bravos are coming, tra-la, tra-la, and they're playing really good baseball this month, and I expect that to continue this weekend against the Dodgers.
100%, and they're going to make the playoffs. I totally agree with you on that. And they haven't played the Mets a lot, and they haven't yet played them in Atlanta. And I believe they finished the year with the Mets in Atlanta. And the Braves have always beat the Mets. I mean, they always beat the Mets. They have since Chipper. We all know that. They have killed the Mets, beat them in the playoffs, too. Don't forget that in 2000 and was that 99? 99, they beat them in the playoffs.
Right.
So this is a scenario here where the Mets have to get rid of the Braves cloud. And it'll be interesting to see if they do that. If the Braves, could put some pressure on the Mets, it will be a very good NL East race. I'm not ready to put the Phillies there yet. They're 3 over 500. I'm not ready to put them there yet, but I certainly am Atlanta. So Atlanta Mets, and they could be playing for a bye into a divisional round because the winner would have the second best record. That would be an interesting stretch here the second half of the year. Chipper, let me hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, Chris, that's great. I think you're right. And I think both the Mets and Braves can say the same thing. They don't really have their 26-man roster together. The Mets are without DeGrom and Scherzer. They've had their injuries with McCann and Carrasco, and McNeil's got a hamstring. We all know about that. Well, let's not forget the Braves have had a Ronald Acuna that's still coming back from his knee injury and the body soreness that comes along with the rehab that's not quite a year out from injury down in Miami. They haven't had Mike Soroka, who's beginning a rehab soon down in Florida. He could be back soon. They've got Kirby Yates, a former closer who's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's going to be back at some point for Atlanta. They also have Tyler Matzik, who had some shoulder inflammation but is feeling great. And this Atlanta bullpen had the best, if not still has the best ERA in the National League, even without Tyler Matzik and Yates in it. So these are two teams that are going to get better as the season goes on. And I think historically, from the Braves' perspective, Chris, if you look at what Atlanta's done in the divisional race the last 4 years, when teams have had a chance to bury Atlanta, they didn't do it. And the Braves have always been a good second half team. I think this team is poised to do exactly the same thing in 2022. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to win the division, but this is not the team that was 10.5 games out of first place 3 weeks ago. This is a team that's playing more like one that has a chance to really put the pedal down and do some damage before the All-Star break with a pretty favorable schedule in the National League East.